Okay, welcome to my Google Earth tour of Tonga. This is where I'm going to go over the last three Millennium Development Goals, namely combating diseases, ensuring environmental sustainability, and global partnership for development. To kind of give you an idea of where we are, to orient you a bit, here's Australia, and Tonga is a string of islands right here. Mainly there's three main islands. I can't pronounce them very well, but Vava'au, Tonga Tapu, and Iao. These islands are just small ones. This is just a crater. It's kind of cool. We can look at it real quick. It's kind of an old volcano, it looks like. To start off, as you can see, these islands are rather small, not a lot of space. So if we zoom in here, we can start off with the ensure environmental sustainability goal. One of the things that I do like about Tonga is that it's very green. There's a lot of forest and greenery. One thing that the country has done is right here, as you can see, they've marked this off as a national park. So they're trying to preserve the forestry that they have. As you can see, it's not densely populated all over. This is a smaller island, Iao. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is the most populated island. This is Tonga Tapu. It as well. You can see there's some denser areas in this region, but you can also see that there's a lot of land, a lot of area here. The main problem with ensuring environmental sustainability in Tonga is that everyone seems to want to go to one place, just like it is everywhere else in the world. They all want to gather into one area, and it becomes more dense in certain areas. Also, one of the biggest problem with Tonga is in ensuring and sustaining environmental sustainability is water, clean water. As you can see, it seems, Tonga's surrounded by water. How can Tonga have any problem finding access to water? But what they need is a way to make that water more drinkable. So they have here. This is the Tonga Water Board. This is where they discuss how they can get clean water to the citizens. Back in 1990, when the developmental goals were started, they did a survey and found that only about 91% of the population of Tonga, received drinking water from a filtered source. Other places would get their water just from river water or wherever they could find it. But because of this Tonga Water Board and many filtration systems that they've been getting, they filter their water in multiple different ways, using mainly reverse osmosis. They get water from rivers, lakes, freshwater, wetland. They treat it through filtration. They can also get their water from the ocean and treat it. And so from doing this in the Millennial Development Goals, and the most recent is that 98% of Tonga now receives their water from a filtered source or a cleaner source rather than just wherever they can find it. Also, one of the problems in Tonga, besides just water, is waste. Where are they going to put their waste? There are no central or public sewage systems in Tonga. The majority of the population are served by on-site facilities such as septic tanks. And the septic tanks, sludge and whatnot from the septic tanks, from the homes where the waste is created, are taken to a landfill, which is right here, Tapuhia landfill. So this is where they can put all their waste. The problem is it's really hard to transport all your waste from all these outlying cities, towns, whatnot, and so there's a lot of problems with waste getting into water systems and so on, especially in the outlying. This Tonga Tapu seems to be a bit more civilized, and or not, maybe not civilized, but more advanced in its ability to keep water clean, to remove waste, and so on. I want to show you one place where you might be able to just see, just by visualizing, that there could be a problem with removing waste, getting clean water, and so on. If you come out here to these islands, these are the more outlying islands. Most of Tonga's problems are not as much in the big city of Tonga Tapu and so on, but out here in these outlying islands. This is the biggest city on this island here. And as you can see as we zoom in, it's not paved. It has dirt roads, and it just isn't as, the infrastructure here is not as advanced as it is in the other in Tonga Tapu. Another problem that they have is they have farms and such, as you can see, and pesticides and so on can also get into the water system, causing a lot of problems. Some of the things that Tonga has been doing to prevent these problems, as you can see, we come out even to, there's lots of these little villages out here where they got a farm, they got some pesticides, they run down, they get a lot of their water, just like I said, where they can find it. So some of the things that Tonga has done to improve for the Millennial Development Goals is they've started passing a lot of acts and bills, laws, so that there's more control over how water is given and cleaned, and how sewage and waste is taken out. So I want to just mention a few that have been passed, so you can understand and see that Tonga is getting more on top of things. I think that they're really improving in this way. They've passed what's called the Environmental Impact Assessment Act of 2003. So they will, according to this act, they will go and actually assess and see how the environment is being impacted by the things that they do. A Pesticides Act has been passed, which obviously talks about pesticides and how they can dispose of that. An Environment Management Bill has just been submitted, so ways to manage the environment. A Marine Pollution Bill was developed by the Ministry of Marine and Ports, and an Ozone and Biosafety Bill has also been drafted. So they're working on ways to improve the environment, to sustain their environment, so that they can be free of contaminated water and be able to sustain their population growth. One of the problems, like I said, is there's not as much land. There's plenty of land, but everyone wants to gather in one place, so you end up a little bit more dense, and the natural resource management and everything isn't the greatest in the country of Tonga. Which leads me to my second Millennial Development Goal that I want to talk about, and that's combating diseases. So one of the problems, obviously, is that illnesses can occur. E. coli is a problem in Tonga because a lot of the water systems are contaminated with feces, human feces, pig feces, etc. And so I want to move on to combating diseases, and so I want to show you a couple of hospitals. Tonga, unfortunately, is not too densely populated with hospitals or doctors. As you can see here, this is the state hospital, or the national hospital. I think it's pronounced Vaiola Hospital. So this is a big one. This is their main hospital, where the biggest problems or issues that, if there's a problem with a person in Tonga and they're really sick, this is where they're going to come. This is the main hospital on the island. There's other hospitals, smaller, not really hospitals, more like clinics, spread throughout, individual doctors' offices, and so on. So they can come here. Also, I want to show you another hospital, just to kind of compare. So you can see the hospital in the mainland, quite a bit large, rather large, high quality.